One of the biggest questions I'm seeing online is whether or not you should homeschool year-round versus following a traditional public school schedule. So today I am going to let you know those are not your only two options. We're going to go through 5 different schedules that you might want to adapt into your homeschool this upcoming homeschool year. Hey guys, it's Bonnie from Mrs. Mom's Homeschool and welcome to my channel. And if you're new here, I make videos to help you on your homeschooling journey. And today we are talking about homeschool scheduling annually. What kind of schedule should you do? Now, this has become a big question, I guess, because the new school year, we're starting to plan for the upcoming school year. Some of us are ending our school year. A lot of you guys are wondering, should we continue to homeschool through the summer? What are the benefits of that? So first of all, let's go through that schedule. Homeschooling year-round, meaning homeschooling straight throughout the summer without following a traditional school year, has a lot of benefits. As you're homeschooling throughout the homeschool year, there's not a lot of pressure on you to finish by a certain time. That means that when relatives are coming in for the holidays, if you want to get away in the middle of the year to take a vacation, let's say you guys have a sickness, you keep getting sick like we did this year, and you're taking off, you don't really have to stress finishing by a certain time because you're just going to keep going. And some people decide to take on a lighter schedule. For example, what we're doing this year is we're going to just continue homeschooling until we're done the curriculum that we're done using. And once that is done, if it's still summertime, we're going to go through with a lighter schedule, picking up and learning subjects and topics that the kids could use some extra help in. For example, we'll work on creative writing instead of language arts. For math, we'll do more games. We might do a different elective or do like a summer camp style homeschool. Like there's so many fun ideas you can do homeschooling year round. And it really does help to keep your kids on a schedule, keep them structured. Last homeschool year, I did not homeschool year round. And I regretted it because we lost, like our sleep schedule took us a very long time. I'm talking months before we were able to get back on our normal sleep schedule. To get the kids back in the mindset of having to do work was very challenging. I actually think that all the struggles that we had this homeschool year was due to the long summer break that we had. On top of us, we got sick like nonstop because I'm working more with kids this year, but that's probably why we've been more social. But homeschooling year round kind of fixes that problem because I don't have to finish by a certain day in order to make sure my child is at the next, grade level. The drawback to that is that you may have kids in the neighborhood or family members who are off in the summer when your kids are still doing school, or you have a sibling, another child that we have a teenager who's in public school, she has off the whole summer, and then my kids kind of get a little jealous over that. So those are one of the drawbacks of that. So the second schedule of homeschooling is to do, which you guys already know, is to follow a traditional public school calendar. Now, what would be the benefit of that? Well, I kind of mentioned it already. If you have another child who is not homeschooled, you guys can all have that summer break together. Or maybe your kids have a lot of cousins or friends in the neighborhood that go to public school, and then your kids are stuck doing school and the other kids are off. That might change your decision to homeschool year round. I mean, you can always work around this. What we do when we were in that situation is we would spend the mornings doing fun activities and then homeschool after, or vice versa. Homeschool in the morning and spend the rest of the day just hanging out and not having like a full homeschool schedule. So you could work around that. A drawback to this is that you're gonna have to spend at least that first month going back into school, training your kids back to going to bed at a regular time, getting them back on a normal school schedule, reviewing all of the things that you guys have learned, and they call it the summer slide, where kids start to forget everything over the summer. So you have your pros and cons there. Another interesting schedule that I really like, and I might stick with this one this homeschool year, I've never done this one before, it's called Sabbath Homeschooling. Now, the Sabbath, right? So you work 6 days of the week and you take off a day of rest, like in the Bible. Well, in Sabbath schooling, you're working 6 weeks out of the year, and then you're off for a whole week, and then you go homeschool for 6 weeks, and then you're off for another week, and you keep doing that year round. But you're getting a week off every 6 weeks. And the fun thing about this is that every 6 weeks you could choose a new elective or a new topic to study if you're doing unit studies. So there's a lot of cool things you could do with that kind of schedule. It also gives you a nice chunk of a nice break, rather than homeschooling the whole year and only having off spring break or waiting for the summer break. Having a week off every 6 months is awesome, also because those weeks fall into the regular year where you can do things without all the other public school kids being in your way. I'm just kidding. Just crowding up everything. You guys can have the parks to yourself during that week, going to vacation, whatever it is that you guys want to do during your week off, you can do it. Or you can take that week to, plan, just let the kids just hang out, sleep in late, just chill at home, and you take the week to plan the next 6 weeks. You can do it whatever you want. Another homeschool schedule that you can use this homeschool schedule and mix it with all the others, but that's homeschooling 4 days a week instead of your traditional 5-day week, which is what we do. And the reason why we do it is because we have a homeschool co-op that we go to every week, once a week. So every Tuesday we don't have regular school. The only subject my son does is math on those days. But other than that, we don't have traditional school. And it's not because they're learning at the co-op. They're normally, they are when they're my daughter takes 2 science classes. One is mine, and that's the class she's learning in. But she's going to cooking class, so she's learning how to cook. And she does art class, so she's learning art. And my son has a Lego club where he's learning how to use his skills with his friends and work together as a team to build things. Or he has Odyssey of the Mind, and that's, logical thinking. So they're not doing core work there, but they are learning different ways. So those are kind of their electives. So, but if you don't have a homeschool co-op or you don't like homeschool co-ops, you could take this extra day for a fun day, go out to the park, maybe a game day, maybe a movie or documentary day. You could do it to get errands done and just get the kids off. There's so many different ways you could use this extra day. You still can get done all of your curriculum within the year by just homeschooling 4 days a week. So that's something to consider. And the last homeschool schedule that I want to talk about is just taking any random 2 months off, right? So let's say most states, you have to homeschool 180 days. So that's why they have 2 months of summer off. Now, let's say you don't want to take off 2 months of summer. Maybe you live in Florida like me or anywhere else, and it's just too hot to be out all day in the summer, and you want to instead take off December, like we did that one time, and just focus a whole month on a whole bunch of Christmas activities and take the kids to all the Christmas events. Or maybe you like October and you want to take them to a fall festival on a farm every week. Or maybe you just want to take off some time in the spring and spend a lot of time outdoors at the park and just spread out your vacation days. So what we used to do was take off all of December, because that get, you know how the holidays are. There's a million things to do in the holidays, and there's a million fun things to do as well. So we would take off all of December, and then we would take off 1 month in the summer to give their kids that time with their cousins or whoever else was off in the summer. They would have the month of July, and that'd be their summer break, and they would do summer camps and things like that. So that is another option for you. So what do you guys think? What is your favorite schedule? Are you doing a schedule now that maybe you're going to change? Have you heard of all these different types of schedules? What do you think you might use for the upcoming homeschool year? I would love to know. For us, for this upcoming homeschool year, this year we're going to homeschool year round. We're homeschooling through the summer, but I'm thinking next homeschool year that starts in September that we might be trying that Sabbath homeschooling and see what that's like. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.